this morning I'm heading back to Maine. I've got a few stops to make sort of later, but I'm gonna get some food and package up stuff like that. I've got everything I can do pretty much done here. I mean, I had hoped to have dug the hole, put the driveway in, but it's just been too wet, and they're supposed to get some more rain later today and tomorrow, so that's nothing we can do. That's how this fun game goes. And then hopefully when we get back in June, that'll be all taken care of and things will have dried out, hopefully. Got a iced coffee, and next I've got to stop at the grocery store and pick up some sausage burgers. I gotta stop at another place later, pick up food, because there's like 3 weeks or so, and I gotta bring back some like meats and stuff. The light, yes. If you've been watching this for a while, you know this light always gets red for us. know I drive a lot, and it's a lot of the routes that I drive are pretty much the same routes all the time. It doesn't vary, and for whatever reason, I can remember every curve and everything else, where it's going, what the road contour, blah blah, all that kind of stuff. So a lot of times it doesn't bother me to drive, because while I'm driving I hardly ever listen to the radio or whatever. I use that time to do thinking, planning, trying to figure things out, because there's nothing else you can do. Like if you're sitting at home or that kind of whatever, you've got other things, all of a sudden it occurs to you, oh, I gotta go and do this. But when you're driving, the only thing you can do is drive. So you're sort of captured here. You are captured here. And you can just sit and say, okay, what am I gonna do about this? How am I gonna figure out that? How's that gonna work? All those little details. So it doesn't really bother me to drive. I know a lot of people, it bothers them to drive, but it doesn't bother me to drive, which is partly the reason why when we get back, I'll end up getting a new car, because this one's a lease, and I know we're going to end up putting on a ton of miles. So I don't really want to have that as being a problem. With a lease, you know, that's not going to work at all. I mean, sometimes I can drive 1,000, 2,000 miles a week, and with a lease, that's not going to work. So that's sort of the reason for the newer car, because in no time you can rack up the miles, and if you've already started with a whole bunch of miles, it's not going to last very long. Well, it looks like the little alpacas are out. A place back there that I usually get gas at, because I'm in New Hampshire and gas tends to be cheaper over here than in Vermont. But I filled up in Vermont, and I do it usually if I can. Go to Cumberland Farms, because I got the app. You get 10 cents a gallon off when you use the app in your phone. But over here it was $2.69. So I'm like, boy, I don't know what's going on there. Because usually Vermont, like I said, is a lot more expensive. Well, we're getting there. I got one more stop today. I'm going to pick up some other groceries so I can get them frozen to take back. And it's like really windy. And that's one of the things, the problems that I felt with this Forester. Because it's so high, it tends to sway back and forth in winds when you're going along on a highway or something like this. So, and it's funny because I told them that and they were like, oh yeah, they knew that was a problem. It's like, really? You know that's a problem, but yet you don't do something for another year or two to fix that problem. It's one of those things that I suppose every year they get better and better kind of thing, or they put more and more into them. But still, you should make them the best you can, and then if you find do all your tests and everything else, and then you find your problem, okay, then you fix it. But if they knew there was a problem, that's not a good thing. I actually like that yellow. I'll have to see if they have that one. Unfortunately, the GoPro was a little slow there, but there was a turkey taking his time crossing the road. know, years ago there were no turkeys here, and they have done so well. There's like turkeys everywhere. This is Milton, New Hampshire, and I don't think this town has changed probably in 30 years, 40, 50, I don't know. Hasn't changed a whole lot. It's one of those towns that just doesn't seem to really grow. I mean, it just sort of is here. I mean, even though there's like, I think they've got a bunch of lakes over here. So on the outside, there's tons of vacation homes, but the town itself never seems to, I don't know, it's just one of those things. We used to live over here quite a few years ago, and still know quite a few people around here. And one of them was this guy I've known for years and years. He used to own a lumber yard, and at one point he had cows and all that kind of stuff. But he's like a real wheeler dealer, and I just saw him. He's got to be in his 70s now. But he was driving a tractor trailer, and he's got all the angles on everything figured out. So he buys hay, mostly in Vermont and Canada, and then he brings it back here and resells it. And that's one of his part-time things. Years ago, he used to go in the winter to Florida, and he'd pick up all these deals and everything else, and then he'd come back here and resell them. So obviously he hasn't changed much, because that truck was going down the road. Where he was going with the tractor trailer, I don't know, but probably to pick up a trailer and bring it someplace so when haying season starts, he can start that again. Well, once we cross this bridge, we go from New Hampshire, and now we're in Maine. So today we've done Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. Good trip. Well, I thought I was all done for today, but I got the foods that I bought before all packaged up, and then I remembered, okay, I got a bunch of stuff I got to get at Walmart. I mean, nothing big or anything, and I've got all day tomorrow, but I'm just thinking, well, the way it usually goes is that last day you go, oh, right, I forgot about. So I'm headed out, and I'm also going to get sleepy pills for Hello. Let's see if the vet has put them out in her box. The sleepy pills for Hello were out in the drop box, and I picked those up. And the girl who's the vet actually went to school with our kids, so she knows us and everything else, and we've known her since she was a little kid. So it's really one of those kind of, things that you just call her up and say, hey, can you get can you whatever? And oh yeah, sure. Remember a few days back I brought my sister some coffees. Well, if you missed that one, that's all right, I did. And so I saw her today when I got back here, and she was like, oh, that Brazilian coffee, that one was that was like the best coffee we've ever had. And I was like, okay, good. Hey, that's wonderful. She said, oh, that'll be a definite buy. So I was thinking, this is a definite case of because I've always thought it was good. That's why we were going to add it to the, you know, pretty much the staple list. It was good, but it wasn't like the greatest coffee I've ever had type thing. So it's really a subjective matter of what you, so many individual factors, really. You know, the water, the filter, the way you brew it, how much you use, all of those things. And as long as it's good to your taste, that's really the key thing. If you, however you're brewing it, however you're doing it, if the coffee tastes great to you, that's, who could ask for more than that? Well, I think I've got everything, but that's why I did it today, because that way tomorrow I've got a haircut and I still have time. So if I have to, I can still get some other stuff done. Alright, I said it before that I'm done, but I think I'm really done for today. So I've got some other things I've got to do, and I'll have something to eat for dinner, and then I got to figure out the suitcase thing, because I want to try to pack it all in. It's mostly food, a couple little things, water filters, nothing just for the next few weeks. So there's not a whole ton. It's not like when we normally go back where we're loaded to the gills with stuff, because it could be ages. But this is, well, as far as I know, this is only like maybe 3 weeks, 3-4 weeks, something like that. But I should be done for today.